The Phantom Slayer, the Abyssal Reaper. The Island of the Reaper. The sea was unnaturally quiet as Kale's boat drifted toward Nixmore Isle. A place long erased from maps, spoken of only in fearful whispers. Legends claim that no man who set foot on its cursed soil ever returned. Kale wasn't just any man. He gripped his daggers tightly as his boat scraped against the shore. The island was a graveyard of wrecked ships and sun-bleached bones, a testament to the horrors lurking within. The wind howled, carrying distant whispers, not of the living, but of the forgotten. At the heart of the island lay his goal, the Gate of the Abyss. It was said that beyond that gate slumbered Morvoth, the Abyssal Reaper, a being of pure darkness, bound by forgotten gods. If Kale could make a pact with it, he would gain a weapon like no other. But the island would not let him pass so easily. As he ventured deeper into the ruins, the shadows moved. A guttural growl echoed through the air. From the darkness, twisted wraiths emerged, their hollow eyes burning with an unnatural hunger. Their bodies were warped, limbs elongated and twitching as they slithered toward him. Kale reacted instantly. With a flick of his wrist, spectral daggers materialized, slicing through the first creature. It let out a shriek as it disintegrated into black mist. But more came. The island was alive, and it would not allow him to reach the gate. Kale fought relentlessly, dodging clawed hands and cutting through the swarm of horrors, but for every wraith he destroyed, two more took its place. Then, the ground began to shake. A deep, inhuman growl rumbled from beneath the ruins. The air grew heavy, thick with an ancient, suffocating presence. Kale turned toward the massive obsidian gate, its surface covered in forgotten runes, glowing faintly as something stirred behind them. And then, the gate slowly began to open. A wave of pure darkness surged out, swallowing everything in its path. Kale tried to resist, but unseen hands dragged him into the abyss. He was falling into the domain of Morvoth. Kale's body plunged into darkness, the air ripped from his lungs. He hit the ground with a force that sent pain shooting through his limbs. But the ground was not solid. It was shifting, moving. He opened his eyes to find himself in a place beyond existence, a void of swirling black mist where whispers of the dead slithered through the air. And then he saw it. A towering cloaked figure stood before him, its form wrapped in shadows that pulsed like a living nightmare. Its face was hidden beneath a hood of pure void where no light could exist. In its grasp was a scythe of obsidian fire, a weapon that could sever souls from existence. Morvoth, the Abyssal Reaper. You seek my power, it spoke, its voice a chorus of tormented souls. But power is not given. It is earned. The darkness trembled, and suddenly, Kale was no longer standing, he was falling. A battlefield materialized around him, twisted ruins and blackened skies, filled with phantoms of warriors long forgotten. Their hollow eyes locked onto him, and in unison, they charged. Kale reacted instantly. His daggers flickered into existence as he dashed through the horde, cutting down the first phantom. It screamed as it dissolved into mist, but the others didn't stop. They surrounded him, their ethereal blades slashing from every direction. Kale barely dodged, pain searing through his side as one blade grazed his ribs. Morvoth watched silently, unmoving. Judging, gritted his teeth. He had to prove himself. Summoning every ounce of his will, he called forth his spectral daggers. But this time, something answered. From the void itself, the daggers changed, glowing with an eerie black fire. They were no longer his weapons alone. They carried Morvoth's power. Kale's eyes darkened, his body moving with unnatural precision. He became the storm, his blades tearing through the phantoms with devastating force. One by one, they fell, until only silence remained. Kale turned to face the Reaper. Morvoth raised its scythe. You have embraced the abyss. The void collapsed around them, and Kale felt the darkness binding itself to him, not as a curse, but as a covenant. When he opened his eyes, he was back on Nixmore Isle. But now, the Abyssal Reaper walked beside him, and the world would never be the same. Subscribe.